everyone, and welcome to the 29th episode of Slime Time, the official Dragon Quest Dragon's Den podcast. This is Plattym3.
And this is Pendy. Are you ready for the bestest, slimiest, goorific, most fabulous Dragon Quest Slime Time episode ever? Am I overselling this? I think I might be overselling this.
Just a bit. But hey, welcome, Pendy. Thanks for filling in while Liam is away on a tropical island in Japan, and we'll never hear from him.
Speaking of Japan, we have two guests in Japan right now who went to the new Luida's bar, which recently moved from Roppongi to the Akihabara section of Tokyo. Thank you.
Yes, joining us live from Tokyo, Japan, it's Kristof.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
Oh well, I'm really sleepy. I couldn't sleep only just 2 or 3 hours, but I guess I'm fine.
All right. We'll hopefully wake you up here in a bit. Also joining us tonight from Ishigaki in Okinawa, it's actually my co-host of the Slime Time podcast.
What?
And today he's just joining us as a guest. Sorry, Pendy. I mean, he's kind of upstaging you here as a guest.
Shenanigans.
As we brought you in for a co-host. But hey, welcome, Liam Land.
Thanks, guys. First time guest, long time listener. If you listened to our last episode, I actually had to bounce early to head to an appointment at Luida's bar to meet up with Kristof. So this is the now we can just kind of talk about the shenanigans that went on there.
So yes, if you thought episode 28 left on a cliffhanger, here's the episode 28 too.
Yeah, and I am also on about 3 hours of sleep because I'm working on New York time. So I share. You're going to be interviewing two sleepyheads right now.
And, you know, it's rolled up close to midnight here on the East Coast. So that makes about 4 of us.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's all have a coffee pact then.
I've already drained about 18 ounces. So if you hear me go quiet for a good 3 minutes, it's because, man, I got to go to the bathroom. But
that's okay. The silences get edited out, so we're all good.
That's true. That is true. All right. Well, Kristof, we're going to wake you up here a little bit because at the beginning of our episodes, we start off asking our guests some questions. But most of these, we don't need to hear from Liam. We did that about 28 episodes ago, and we've heard from him plenty in the 27 episodes since. So most of these are just directed at you. Okay. So we'll get. All right. Well, we're going to talk about Luida's bar in a little bit, but we want to get to know you a little bit more. And I'll let Pendy ask the first question.
So, how do you guys know each other?
Well, from a Twitter community, Questers Rest.
Yeah, I know Kristof from the Questers Rest Twitter chat. So we've been chatting with that group for about a year or so. And I was going to be in Tokyo, and I know Kristof lives there, so I messaged him, and we planned to meet up once my 2-week quarantine was over.
All right. Kristof, tell us a little bit about your background and what you're doing living over there in Japan.
I'm from Hungary and came to Japan when I was a kid and put in just a normal Japanese school. So I've been living here for 30 years and work as a freelance translator, mostly from Hungarian Japanese, and well, playing. Yeah.
I was gonna say they dropped you in a Japanese school when you were a little kid. Like, did you knowing no Japanese at all?
Yeah, that's right.
How long did it take you to acclimate?
Well,
that's really
speak. It didn't take too long, but to learn that those kanjis, it was terrible.
Oh, I bet.
So I took the top grade Japanese test when I was 16. Hello.
Nice.
Oh, we're still here. Yeah.
No,
excellent.
That's awesome. So, what was the first Dragon Quest game you ever played?
Actually, it was Torneko's Mystery Dungeon, the very first Torneko.
Interesting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Liam and I have played that.
And then started the main line like 5 and 6 for the Super Famicom, the SNES. Well, so the first one was 27 years ago when I played it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, what would you say some of your favorite games are? Like some of the favorite mainlines, some of the favorite spin-off?
Well, the favorite mainline is definitely the 3DS version of Dragon Quest VIII.
Awesome.
You know, I'll tell you later why. And the spin-offs, yeah, I like the Mystery Dungeon series, especially Torneko 1 and 2, and also Dragon Quest Swords.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I love swords.
Yeah, that one gets a bad rap a lot, but I really enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
I bought a Wii for it, and I bought a Wii a second time for it.
So, Kristof, do you have a favorite character and/or monster from the Dragon Quest series?
Yeah. Well, the absolute favorite character is Jessica, and that's why my favorite mainline is 8 on 3DS, because I can marry her.
It all makes sense now. It all
There you
makes
go.
sense.
Yeah.
Pieces fit together.
Yeah. Well, I also love Bianca from 5 and Florette from Swords. Those are my top 3. And about monsters, I have so much that I really can't pick 1 or 2.
I don't blame you.
I love all the monsters.
Well, you're looking at into 1,000 different ones at this point.
Yeah.
So, understandable. So, are you playing any Dragon Quest games right now or recently?
Yeah. In Japan, there's Dragon Quest Walk, which is like a
I'm
Pokemon
jealous.
Go, a Dragon Quest version of Pokemon Go. Yeah.
He was actually playing that at the bar, at Luida's bar, and you got into like a battle, like actually in the bar, right?
And now they have a die event there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we can fight against Hodlar.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
And also there's Dragon Quest Tact. It's a how can I say? It's a tactical game.
Oh yeah, we'll be getting that in the West. I think early next year sometime.
Oh yeah.
We got the.
You're playing the demo version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got a chance to play that for a couple weeks before even the demo dropped over here. So I got like an early build, and it was good. I mean, I'm not a big fan of mobile games, and definitely not of tactical, but I put 10 hours into it, so it was Dragon Questy enough to keep me going that long.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's right up my alley, tactical games. So,
All right.
what can you tell us about some of the Dragon Quest events that you've been to in Japan?
Oh well. There are really a lot. The ones I've been usually fan events where we sell our books. I used to go as just a customer and buy some fan fiction books, but since 2013, I'm selling my own books.
Oh, that's cool. Have you ever been to the Dragon Quest festival that they do every year now?
Dragon Quest Festival?
Yeah, they have like they've done it like the last 2 or 3 years. They have like a festival, I think somewhere near Tokyo, where they have like they put together some booths and information and demos and stuff.
Oh well, you mean the official event?
Yeah.
I've never been there's an official event like those, but usually we have some fan events.
Oh, that's cool.
And you're part of a group cosplay in Japan as well, right? Can you
Yeah, but
can you tell us?
Yeah.
Can you tell us what characters you've been?
Yeah. Well, first was Carver from Dragon Quest 6.
Nice.
Because I wanted to cosplay some character that look like a little bit, or yeah. And I didn't coast a lot, and I could appear just with my muscles. So first I played cover in 2016, and then my friend found a plushie of a Healy, of a heel slime, so I decided to play Ragnar. And then when 11 came out, I've played Hendrik with 3 or 4 times.
Cool.
All right.
So
Liam, did you have anything else you want to ask?
no, all set.
All right. So there we go. Got to know Kristof a little bit, and the others of us you should know very well. We've all been on quite a bit. So let's get to our main event. We're going to talk about some time that you guys, and all 3 of you, been to Luida's bar, either the old one or the new one, or both of them. Liam, you've been to both, right?
Yep. And so is
Yep.
Kristof.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, yeah, true. All right, so back in September, Luida's bar shut down in Roppongi, and due to the limited space and that not really working in the social distancing world of 2020.
That's right. The spacing in the original Luida's bar was pretty tight, and it was standing room only in the main area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, all 3 of you have been to that old one. So for perspective, can anyone give me like a walkthrough of the old bar? What major changes you noticed with the first one? I mean, Pendy, obviously you've not been to the new one, so let's just start with you, and you can tell me about the old one first.
Okay. Well, the old one that was in Roppongi, the old place was amazing. As you walk towards it, you can hear Dragon Quest music as you start to get to it. They have a small speaker that puts out the music that you'll hear inside as you're in there. As you walk in, it's just wall-to-wall Dragon Quest themed decorations and memorabilia. You've got Dragon Quest weapons, characters, enemies all over the place. I remember they even had a Mimic treasure box that was behind the bar where they were cooking, and it was that special Mimic tissue box that you may have seen that you can buy. They have a main bar area or Dragon Quest style barrels with tabletops that you can stand around. Of course, it's frowned upon to pick up said table or pick up the barrels and destroy them to try and get items. So don't be doing that. It's supposed to be reservation only. The website isn't English friendly, so the 2 times that I went, I had to stumble around with the browser translator to be able to make the reservations. But the restaurant itself is English friendly. They had a menu available with English. And both times that I was there, they had a wait staff that knew some English as well. But even if they didn't, ordering is pretty easy. You just write the assigned number of what dish you want on a special pad. Like, so for example, if you ordered the gem slime omelet, it would be assigned dish number 49. You just write that down, how many that you want. And then as far as reserving a spot, weekends were usually booked solid, at least the 2 times that I noticed when I was there. It was like very, very busy. But weekdays weren't so bad, so usually I went on a weekday. The 3rd time that I went to Japan within the last few years, I didn't go. It was when Dragon Quest Your Story was in theaters, so there's no openings at all the entire week I was there. It was booked solid. So, Liam, weren't you able to sneak in your first time by kind of doing the innocent foreigner act?
Yeah. So my first time at the old Luida's bar is 2016, and my soon-to-be wife talked to the staff in Japanese and told them that I came all the way from New York just for this, and that I didn't realize it was a reservation only, which was a complete lie. I totally did, but we just basically played the dumb gaijin card and we got in. And that was also the trip I went to like the Dragon Quest Museum in Artnia for the first time. So with all that Dragon Quest, it's no wonder I was so amped up I got engaged.
So it had nothing to do with her. It was just the fact that you were caught up in the moment.
Well, yeah, she had something to do with it.
Okay. That's a great official answer. Hello, Liam's wife. I know you're listening. All right.
Yeah, she's such a huge fan. She listens to every episode.
She has listened to every episode that my wife has listened to. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, which is 0. Yeah.
Oh.
Kristof,
I asked
how
my
about,
wife. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, no, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I mentioned on Side Quest the other day. I asked my wife a couple questions about some game that we were talking about, and she's like, "I'm not gonna be on that podcast. What are you talking about?" was like, yeah, okay. Thought I'd give you the chance for once. We're going to talk about something that you knew about.
Yeah, we could do an episode of just the wives or the guests, and just they'd be so completely. Just listen to them be really indifferent about what we're talking about.
Oh, isn't that thing you have hanging on the wall over there?
Yeah. Kristof, do you have any? Do you have any memories of the old place you wanted to talk about?
Well, my first time was in 2012 when we made a fan book together with a team. It was about Sorrow and the female hero of Dragon 4, and only for over 18 years old.
Was it art as well?
Yeah. I wrote a short novel, and some of them do manga, and we were about maybe 6 or 7 people in that. And then after we sold the book, the leader planned some surprise. It was that we're going to Luida's bar, the royal room. And
oh, great!
Oh, the room in the back.
Now that's the karaoke room, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. I've never been to that.
It actually doesn't have a karaoke, but that's that looks like a karaoke room.
Oh, really? They didn't actually have karaoke there? I thought they did.
No. You can listen, of course, Rankus music. You can see the screen, but well, if you want to sing, you can. There's no
la, 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 la.
Yeah. Wow, I always thought that was the karaoke room, just legit from like looking at the way it looked, the way it was done up. That's funny. I thought that for like 4 years. I was like, oh, I got to go do the karaoke room sometime and sing.
That's great. So they have a lot of slime and king slime pillows.
It's awesome.
Awesome.
You can actually sit down.
Yeah, that's true. That's one of the things I wanted to mention too. In the differences between the two is you can actually sit down now.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so it's the bar. The bar had 2 entrances. For some reason, they wanted to use the back entrance. Maybe it was easier for folks to line up there than down the sidewalk. So I get that. But the front entrance was right off a busy street in Roppongi. So anyway, like you walk in the back, and there's like standing tables along the left side wall around the corner. And then above that back wall, there were 2 glass cases with replicas of Erdrick's sword and Zenithian's sword. Those actually transferred to the new bar. I saw that we sat right under them.
Nice.
On the right side, as you walked in, was the bar, and it hooked around to the right. No seats, as we were mentioning, standing room only. If the place was completely packed, you could really only fit one person walk between the people at the tables and the people at the bar. So it kind of makes sense. Like, you really understand why they couldn't sustain the Roppongi location through the pandemic.
No.
So hooking around the right side of the bar, walking further, there was a display case that ran the whole length of the bar with various miniature armor displays and mini metal replicas. There were 2 slime towels draped across the top part of the glass case with "The slime appeared" written on one, which is the Japanese equivalent of "A slime draws near" from the original Dragon Warrior. Behind that glass case, you could see the chefs preparing each of the Dragon Quest themed meals. And as you mentioned, Pendy, behind the chefs was the mimic tissue box. So continuing down past the bar, about 3 steps to the register, or 3 steps down to the room with the register in it, there's another replica of Erdrick's sword in a glass case on the corner, and a replica of the Mirror of Ra. And then ahead were the displays of plushies. They had like Sanguinis and Platypunks, and there was even a Rocket Slime plushie on a little circular table. With a small dice calendar indicating today's date. To the left was the register with a glass case featuring all their monster coasters. And then near the register under the glass is a series of Luida's bar wine bottles, which are unfortunately display only, and they were no longer being produced by the time I got there in 2016.
Yeah, it was, sorry, I was going to interject before I forget. And it was cash. It was cash only. I remember that. That was interesting. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. That's another one of the differences that we'll talk about. I actually forgot that one. Yeah, I forgot that one. but the ordering process is completely revamped too.
Interesting.
And then to the left of the small circular table with the plushies on it was just the front entrance that I think people only use to exit.
I actually came in and went out that way. The 2 times I went, anyways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Every time, maybe they just didn't want me going in the front door. They're like, "Hey, this guy looks a little weird. Let's
He's shady.
send him in the back." Yeah, send him in the back.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, when me and my ex-wife went there, we always went in the front both times.
Only you, Liam.
What's that?
I said
Yeah,
only
only
you.
me. Only me. Yeah, they must have seen me coming, so they sent me in the back.
Oh boy, you're talking about going in the back door, and Lucha Dork is tweeting about buying a sex slime that we mentioned on the episode. So, well, there goes the explicit tag on this episode.
Back doors, front doors. Oh my god.
Back doors, front doors. It was the slime stack that we gave him as the option for one of his Mary Thwack Puff Puff things. Oh boy. Okay, I gotta stop looking at that.
Who said that? Slime Star?
No, Lucha Dork. He just
Oh,
tweeted at
Lucha
us.
Dork. Oh, okay, yeah. He's got every single piece of merch I think that's ever been created.
Yeah, and now he has a plushy slime stack. But the way that they stack together, it looks a little wrong.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Oh.
Yeah, they got those little holes in the bottom. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
they do.
We'll save that for another episode.
Yeah. Is there like an explicit squared button that I can click here for our podcast? Even more explicit than usual.
Late night.
All right, so I think you guys have all described the ambiance quite well. But what about all the food and drinks? What kind of stuff do they have there? What did you guys order?
All the food.
The old place?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can start with the old one.
Yeah, all the food and the drink there is, of course, Dragon Quest themed. It's amazing. They also do lots of limited time selections based off the various new Dragon Quest games coming out, or the tie-ins with new content that comes out for Dragon Quest X, or the various gacha games going on there, which is always cool. Some of the highlights for me that I ordered the 2 times that I went there was they had this muddy hand curry with a little hand sticking out of the top to look just like a muddy hand, but it was all curry, and that was pretty tasty. And then one of the other highlights of that place that I liked a lot was the Hammerhood chocolate dessert, where the hammer was like a little brownie. Liam and Kristof, what have been your favorite menu selections there? And is the menu basically the same at the new location?
Well, it's almost the same. Also, they have some cocktails of Dragon Quest 11 characters. And well, I'm not sure what is the new one, but I still have that muddy hand curry, and also have that brownie.
Yeah, that's true. That was the brownie monster.
Yeah,
that was a good pun. There was a DQ style pun going on the menu item. They got a brownie with a hammer made a brownie. They still had the giant bacon wrapped turkey leg with the emblem of Roto seared on it. I love that. Yeah, I got that. I was chowing down. They had mini metal pizzas. But instead of the pizza sauce, they use ketchup, which is kind of a strange and unexpected taste. If you're used to New York pizza,
pizza is a dicey proposition in most Asian countries over there. I noticed.
They did have some special desserts and things to mark the end of the 10th anniversary, like mini metal pancakes. That I think that was pretty new.
Nice.
Yes, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, but in the past though, at the old one, they had some really cool like game tie-ins that I kind of happened upon randomly as I would go there. One of them in particular was for Builders 1. Oh no, sorry, it was Builders 2, where you actually they give you these little blocks of cake, and you have to stack them to kind of create the picture. That's they give you a picture of like stackable cake blocks, and you kind of try to create that. And there's like a sugary glaze of green on the plate, and that's the grass. And then they give you like the little like cake blocks to say. It was really cool. And there's like some little sugary slimes and things. And then the other one, also at the same event, I think there were 3 total, and I had to do all 3 of them. And the other one was also cake blocks, but they had the picture of the Alefgard map from Dragon Warrior 1. or Dragon Quest 1, and you had to take the blocks with these little tongs and rearrange them in the order that to actually form the Alefgard map, kind of symbolic for builders where the world is being destroyed and you need to recreate it.
Yeah.
So of course, being an old school fan since 1989, I had to do it from memory. So I wasn't gonna look at the picture of that one. I think I'd have to turn in my fandom card for something like that. But then the third one was a slime stack drink with different colors. But awesome. The menu for how to set that up was in Japanese entirely, so I didn't understand that you were supposed to kind of put a certain layer in between, so that I just tried it and all of the slime colors just mixed together and just a mess. And the staff ended up coming over and like laughing at me, and so I was like, no, I got to do this right. So I ordered it again and then had the staff like handhold me to do it correctly, specifically so that I could get a picture of what it looks like when you're supposed to do it correctly.
Yeah, and I think you told me a little bit before about doing the builders cake where you had to build the Alefgard. Weren't they kind of impressed on like how well you were able to do that from memory? I think you had mentioned that before.
I think it would be kind of rare for them to see a gaijin come in and just like ace the Alefgard test.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of the menu. In terms of the menu,
you can think about?
Yeah, there was a gem slime omelet. Yeah, Kristof, what were you gonna say?
Yeah. Something I'm missing is that Brazilian sandwich, which I guess it wasn't in Luida's bar, but it was in Square Enix Cafe. It's actually from the voice drama when Rab made the Brazilian sandwich to the little Jade, and we could eat it in Square Enix Cafe.
Oh, nice!
It was really tasty. Yeah.
Was that from the voice drama that came with Dragon Quest XI S on the Switch? Because I remember the Japanese version had that. Oh, that's great. Nice.
So, cool. When you don't have it even in the new, say, PC version or what that was released recently, so you don't have the voice drama in that either.
No.
No, that's sad.
I know. That would have been a nice little bonus, but they, for whatever reason, they decided they did not want to bring that over to the West.
So they would have had to re-record all the voices with the voice actors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's probably why that would have been an extra cost.
That's true. Yeah, and it's basically just like a radio drama put with the Dragon Quest characters, and a little side story.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. Other than the food there, they have any like giveaways or stuff you could get?
Oh well, they. At least the 2 times I went there, they would give you Dragon Quest themed coasters. They would you'd have a coaster for your drink, but they give you a fresh one on your way out. And I have one with a muddy hand, and I have another one with a teeny sanguini. You also got a point card where you collected stamped mini medals that would eventually get you something. I don't know what, because I can't read Japanese, but you got some kind of bonus. A nice bonus, as from that last. But they also sold merchandise there as well. But both times that I went there, all the merchandise was sold out, so I didn't have an opportunity to buy anything that was there. What about you guys?
They still do the coasters. Kristof was actually super nice at giving me his. Since I was the guest in Japan. He gave me one of his Eric coasters that he got, and then whenever we ordered drinks, they used to just put your drink on a coaster, but now like everything is like collector focused. So all of the coasters come in these silver sealed little packages, and you can open them you need to open them to find out like what you got. So I ended up getting like a bubble slime, and I think a sanguini and a handful of others that I'll take pictures of for the YouTube version of this record.
Oh, I'll have to. I'll send you some of my pictures as well for that.
Yeah, drop that in the group chat with Woodus. He does a great job on our YouTube videos. As always, thanks to him for that. So, were there any bunny girls?
No, but it was a very family friendly place. I remember one time I stood next to a little girl that was wearing a Dragon Quest themed outfit with a little slime knit cap, who had come in with her parents. She was maybe like, I don't know, 10 or 11. She was very excited to be there. It was very cute. Now, however, as we mentioned before, they did have that room in the back that you could rent out. So maybe they had some bunny girls back there for the high rollers. I don't know. Maybe Kristof knows. He was there. I don't know.
Kristof, have you seen anything like that before?
Well, in
Pop-ups
Roppongi,
from the rail street?
the waitress, one of the waitresses at least, was cosplaying Erin.
Oh, cool. From Dragon Quest 7? Yeah.
From 9.
Oh, 9.
Yeah.
Oh, Aaron.
Oh, Aaron.
I was
somebody else. Okay.
Yeah,
that's
Luida's
cool.
bar is actually Luida's bar was made after Quester's Rest in
That's
Dragon
right.
Quest 9.
Yeah, I never saw any cosplay, but I did see like in the initial launch of Luida's Bar from when did it come out? 2006 or 7?
Yes, 2010.
Was it really that late?
Luida's Bar.
Yeah, I remember feeling like I just missed it because I was in Japan for the first time in 2005, and then I heard about the bar opening. I was like, that would have been awesome because I was, I was traveling all over Tokyo then, Roppongi and Shibuya and Shinjuku, and I could have totally gone to that, but that's cool. I never got to see any cosplay there. Everyone was kind of dressed professional business attire.
All right. So, any other changes you guys noticed with the new place besides it just being larger?
I took a bunch of notes, but Kristof, do you want to start off?
Oh well, I didn't know. Maybe that some seats were barrels, and not ours, but some could sit. Sit on barrels.
Oh,
That in the original Quester's Rest in 9.
So the place was not packed by any means, which is weird because it was opening weekend. I think we were day 2, and the reservation was kind of hard for Kristof to get. It was booking up. It was booking up really quickly, so it was what we got was Friday at 4:30. So maybe it was because it wasn't packed because it was like before a lot of folks got off of work. But that's the only thing I think of. I mean, from what I remember, you walk into the building, and there's several different venues now besides Luida's Bar.
Yeah.
So there was a concierge desk that I guess managed all the venues, or at least guided you if you didn't know where to go for a particular venue. There was what looked like a board game bar and a handful of other places in there. So from the outside, you see this big Luida's Bar marquee above, but then underneath, if you look in the window, there's actually like a board game bar. So you have to enter the building and then kind of walk about 20 paces in to find the entrance to the left of the concierge desk. The restroom is now outside of the bar, and it's shared with the other venues, so it's no longer a Dragon Quest themed bathroom with decorations. Sadly, yeah, you no longer get to stare at Dragon Quest decorations while you pee and make stink.
Maybe not at your house.
Wow, now I need photos of that. Pixar didn't happen, Platy. So speaking of making stink, it's even more kid-friendly. Pendy, you've seen kids there before. I actually never saw kids at the old venue. Maybe it's because I always went after 7 p.m., but I always thought it was because it was standing room only, which I didn't think made it very kid-friendly.
No, yeah, I only saw the one that went maybe the second time I was there.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, I mean, I saw kids for the first time at the new bar, which I felt like it makes sense because I think the menu has always been kid friendly. You might as well market to them as well.
Yeah.
So the ordering process is more aligned with the Square Enix Cafe in that you're using an iPad menu interface. At the old location, you used to have to use a pencil and paper and mark off checkboxes with a long list of possible items from the menu. Yep. And now you just choose. You choose from the menu on the iPad, and the payment process has changed as well. You mentioned it used to be cash only. At the old bar, you put your order in on a piece of paper, and then you hand it to the wait staff, and then they ask you to go down this couple of stairs to the register to pay before they deliver the food, which is really kind of clunky way of doing business. So if you want, particularly if you're drinking several rounds and getting multiple rounds of food, so that process is now done, and thankfully, and at the new location, you can go to the register and pay the end. And additionally, you can use a charge card.
Yeah, I remember that, because that's why I remember I would get like multiple drinks, and I'd order them all at the same time, because I was like, oh, I don't want to have to go back and forth and all that nonsense. Yeah. So that's good. That's good.
Once you level and gain experience, you realize that you need to put in all your orders at once. So it's kind of hard to describe the vibe of being in a larger bar versus a tight one. It's the vibe is definitely different. In some ways, I miss that old tight quarters bar. There are tons of small venues like that throughout Tokyo, and some in particular in Shinjuku that I've enjoyed, like upstairs bars that are so tight. There's only room for maybe 4 bar stools with a minimal walking space behind them, and yet they still do like karaoke. So there's a lot of sort of quaint, cozy vibes like those types of places, and the old Luida's bar gave off that kind of feel. So it's different being in the larger venue. Also, I guess because it was so tight, the old bar, it felt a little bit more exclusive in a way that the new bar doesn't. That's just one kind of take on being in the new place. It's good that it's still around and that they're expanding, but that was just one of the major differences I noticed. The staff was all new. In fact, I used to go so often that I'd recognize the staff even when I'd be gone for like a year or so. In fact, I had to fight to get my point card mini medal back from them because not only was there a language barrier, but the new staff didn't know the process. So once you graduate a tier in the point card, you're supposed to get a mini medal. And it starts at the slime tier, and then the second point card is the chimera tier, which I had for the longest time. And then most recently, I graduated to the gigantes tier. So if you pass enough tiers, and based on what what you spend there, you get these stamps on your card, and then you collect enough mini medals, you can exchange them for a plaque with your name on it. So basically, the lady I was dealing with during the payment walked away at one point and left my stamp card on the register. And then a manager came up and didn't know that happened. So when I was asking for my point card back, he started explaining what the point card process was to me in Japanese. So Kristof thankfully stepped in to help explain that they still had my point card and I was missing the mini medal. So thanks so much for that. I could have lost like all of my points if I had walked out and realized that later. And I almost lost my entire point guard history dating back to 2016. So also special shout out to Kristof's friend Kenichi, who was with us at the bar, and he ended up paying the entire tab, and which is I had to estimate something like $200 to $300 USD. And at the end, he bought me like 3 extra slime buns that I took home to my family. So thank you so much, Kenichi, for treating us. And not only that, but giving me all of the points for that, allowing me to enter that gigantes tier. I was floored. I was like, wow, I just met this guy. This is awesome. Like, he's just seeing my excitement and wanting to do this for a guest to the country. And so I just was beyond happy and shocked and flattered that he would do that for us. In a post-pandemic world, we'll meet up and rent out that karaoke room, and damn it, we'll do karaoke even if there isn't any.
We can sing the Dragon Quest II song.
Which one is that?
It's the pop song.
That's right. Love song or love story or something.
Yeah, something like that. We'll have to learn the lyrics to that.
Yeah. Well, there's also the closing theme that they used in the original Dai anime. They put lyrics to that as well.
That's true.
Yeah. Right.
So did you notice
my journey?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So did you notice anything about the bar that in particular that stayed the same? Like, did they still have the same bar area where you could like see what they were making and stuff like that?
I don't remember, because we were sitting off the left wall and the bar is now like off to the right. So like the way that it worked now is they had their merch advertising right outside the front door, like, so basically right to the left of that concierge desk. they had all the merch on display, and then you walk in, and now there's like some seats along the left side of the wall, and then there's some tables to the right, and then you walk in to the right, and you walk up one step, and there's more tables, and then to the left of that there's the register. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Kristof, but didn't they have the chefs like in a back room where you couldn't really see them as well? I don't actually remember, but I think
I don't remember either. But I think, I think I've seen some chefs working behind.
yeah, but it was behind the register, so it was like I think it was a separate room. I don't know. I'd have to go back.
I think so. Yeah.
You took a pretty good photo of from our perspective of where we were sitting, so you could kind of see everything. But we'll take a look at that photo and see if we can get a viewpoint of if we could see the chefs or not. I actually don't remember that. In terms of stuff that stayed the same, so they still had the royal suite, but I didn't see where that was. Kristof, did you notice if it was like around the corner from the concierge desk, or if there was a separate entrance to that?
Well, they say they have the royal suite, but actually I don't know where.
Oh yeah, you have to actually search for sparkle spots on the floor, and then it plays that little. And then it plays that little and then the staircase just suddenly appears. No, they kind of did that at the last one too. The royal suite was kind of I don't know where the door was for that. If it was exterior to the bar and you go up some stairs, I really since I'd never been there, I don't know but it wasn't obvious. It wasn't like there's a door with a sign on it for the royal suite off the main bar. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did that too and just had like a completely separate room for it. The decorations were the same. Some of the wall designs were updated. They still had the baskets at your feet to place your bags, so they wouldn't have to touch the floor.
That's right.
That's pretty standard for a lot of Japanese restaurants, though. They do that.
I remember that.
So they had the replicas of Verdrick's sword and the Zenithian sword in the glass case above where we sat. The music was Koichi Sugiyama orchestral soundtracks. I think they expanded on the playlist. I was hearing a lot more orchestral soundtracks than I remember hearing at the old location. Some of the menu, they still had the beer served in the metal goblets, and that's the metal goblets that are sort of shaped like a barrel. Some of the food items, the turkey legs and the slime steam buns, all of that was still there. They had TV screens for advertising. This time it was mostly Rivals and other DQ gacha games. But that's pretty standard for Japanese TV too. I watched the new Dai no Daiboken with my son in Tokyo, and we would routinely see 2 commercials per break for random Japanese matcha mobile games, or gacha rather, gacha, not matcha. Sometimes 2
stars.
Yeah, and I remember seeing Rivals Ace. And maybe Tact. Sometimes 2 mobile app commercials back to back would just appear on TV.
Wow.
So I mean, it was. I think that just the major difference is basically that the size of the place gives off a completely different vibe. But if you are not used to the old place, then that might not be like an issue for you. If you're kind of a purist and you want that kind of tight, small venue, then you might be disappointed by like the new place.
Oh, it didn't bother me.
Yeah,
it looks more like Luida's bar in Dragon Quest IX.
That's true. Yeah, it is expanded. Yeah.
Now it's much closer to the Quest's Rest.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's like the inn expanded. We got enough guests. But I mean, it didn't really bother me. I'm just trying to kind of go in with a perspective that that if you've been to the old place and now you're kind of making that comparison, it's I feel like there's a bit of a difference there between the two vibes.
Gotcha.
Nice. All right. Anything else we want to talk about Luida's bar? Any other memories? Any other thing fun?
Well, I will say, even though I'm not familiar with the new place as much, if you ever travel to Tokyo, it has to be one of your must stops for Dragon Quest themed places to go to. Like you know, make it one of your missions to go there, because it's one of the best places to go to that's Dragon Quest themed in Japan, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and it's the thing about it, it's moved now to Akihabara, which has now three or four different kind of must-see Dragon Quest things going on in Akihabara. One is the Dragon Quest themed Lawson, the Square Enix Cafe, which may or may not be Dragon Quest themed at the time. A lot of times I've gone and it hasn't been, but they still do have merch there. Adjacent to that is Yodobashi Akiba. If you go up to, I think it's the 7th floor, is the
you
toy.
can play some arcade game like
Pendy and I did that. Yep, yeah. Pendy and I did that. That's I didn't get to go there this time. I was looking for it, but we didn't have time. But yeah, you can go up there and play the monster battle scanner.
Road. Yeah, Monster Road.
Yeah, the card based battle scanner game with the dragon controller. And I remember playing that up there on the 7th floor with Pendy when he was visiting. And it was pretty awesome. I didn't know what was going on, so I kind of bumbled through it. He got farther than I did, and he started generating cards. I think you got a ghost card, or
yeah, it was that little ghost guy. I can't remember the name of him right now.
Yeah,
I just got that one card.
I
was gonna say, the second time I went to Japan, I found it in one of the arcades in Akihabara. And I ended up playing it for I just got a whole bunch of yen and just played it for an hour straight and got a ton of cards, which I now have from that trip. And then the third time I went, I tried going in maybe one or two arcades and I couldn't find it. So I don't think, maybe it's not hard, maybe a little bit harder to find now these days.
Yeah, I'm hoping at some point that I do win the lottery. I'm kind of planning on that as a future life goal of just winning a ton of money for doing very, very minimal effort. Maybe I can abuse save state in real life and win the lottery, and then I will buy one of those arcade machines and have it shipped to the US. But that's a life goal. That's one of those personal squad goals.
There you go.
So that I was wondering if those were still around. Because I'd love to play that again. I the last time I was when I was living in Shizuoka in 2017, I found one of those at a department store nearby the house, and I found it a week before I left. So I was like, no, I could have been playing this the whole time.
Oh no!
I know.
Because that first time I went to Japan and met up with you, they were all over the place.
Oh yeah, they were. Yeah, they were in multiple locations, and there was one in Shibuya at a Taito game station. There's one at a Sportland Shinjuku. I mean, they were everywhere. I wonder if they are starting to disappear. I wonder if collectors are snatching them up.
Maybe.
Well, they have to be. Do the cards come out of those machines?
Yeah,
Yes.
That's the thing. If you bought your own,
You'd have to buy all the rolls of paper.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
You'd have to either have have all of the cards printed out ahead of time, kind of bootleg them, or you'd have to have the official capacity of them. But
Well, I was also thinking that might be why they eventually get phased out, as they don't want to upkeep that same machine with that same roll of paper or whatever they do.
The other thing I tried, which then spectacularly failed to do, would be to try to get a ROM or a MAME ROM of the actual game, but that's just not going to work if you consider the unique scanning controller. You can't load that into an emulator and expect that to fire up. I don't
This
think
wasn't the one. Didn't they make a Wii version?
USB.
They did.
Was that the same type of game?
It was. It was they made a home console version of it on the Wii.
Oh, really?
Yep. It never came out here, obviously, but yeah, they did make one.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
I hope they did, because I remember writing about it for my RP Gamer. Everything that ever came out with
Nice.
Dragon Quest.
Yeah, I think
Nice.
I can't remember. It may have came with its own little scanning wand or something too. I'd have to look into it. It's been a while since I looked at it, but yeah, you could.
Oh, that's cool.
You can look at all the videos that are floating around the internet of all the different hero parties that you can get to use in the game.
Oh.
and whatever. Just like in the arcade.
Yeah. I think they took some of that and used some of the animation, or it was inspired some of the animation for Heroes, like the thwack. Is that from that game?
I don't know, but that I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think I've seen some of that animation pop up on YouTube or in other games. But yeah, I didn't realize that was the same game. Battle Road Victories. So that's the same as Monster Card Battle Scanner.
Yeah, it's it's the home console version of it. Yep.
Oh, interesting. All right.
I'm not sure exactly how it worked on the Wii, but yeah, it was definitely a port of that.
Cool. All right. Well, maybe that's the cheaper option than winning the lottery.
That could be. It might have just saved you tens of thousands of dollars there. You're welcome. Send my cut of your savings to at Plattym3 on Twitter.
All right. So, Kristof, are you still with us, or did Die start yet?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Okay. We were joking beforehand about the possibility that Dino Daiboken was going to come on, and Kristof was going to go silent for like half an hour. So I think that's all we had to talk about in terms of anything else to talk about for Luida's Bar.
All right, yeah, Liam, you want to explain Marry Thwack Puff Puff to Kristof?
Sure.
Or have you prepped him for this game?
I don't know if I have. So, Kristof, we play this game called Marry Thwack Puff Puff. Basically, we just list out 3 Dragon Quest characters, and you tell us whether or not you would marry them. You have 3 choices that you have to apply to each of these 3. One of them is marry, one of them is thwack, or instant death, and then one of them is puff puff. Now the rules on the puff puff are you either get or you give. You give or you receive on that. So we've
had many different guests and many different things. So yeah, that puff puff one becomes whatever you make of it.
Yeah, exactly. So we did originally have Jade in there, but I kind of want to swap her out for Bianca because you mentioned 3 characters earlier, and 2 of them were ones we had on our list already. So we're gonna swap out my favorite waifu, Jade, and so we'll probably have to update our prepared answers a little bit for this one. But all right, so let's think about this. Kristof, your Marry Thwack Puff Puff is Bianca, Jessica, and Florette.
We used your own answers against you.
Well, it's hard. Marry and Puff Puff. Well, it's a hard choice because it's how can I Puff Puff from one I don't want to marry. Well,
That's true.
I'd definitely marry Jessica because she's my favorite, and I guess then I can get Puff Puff from her for free. Out of this game, so maybe I'll spare the Puff Puff. So I'm gonna marry Jessica and maybe give a Puff Puff to Bianca. And
so wait, so you don't want to get a Puff Puff because then you feel like you'd be cheating on Jessica.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Good answer. Good answer.
That's very honorable. I get it.
And I'll thwack Florette because she doesn't die. In Dragon Quest Swords, thwack doesn't kill you, just decreases your HP to 1. And Florette is a priest who can heal herself.
Smart man.
Wow. Yeah, that's very smart.
Using the game mechanics to your advantage. I don't think we've ever had anyone quite game the system that way.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I don't think anyone's like applied that type of game mechanic to the Marry Thwack Puff Puff game before. That's pretty cool.
Genius, sir. I gotta give that one to you. That was nice.
Yeah.
Andy, how about you?
Me? This is tough for me, but I guess Puff Puff from Jessica for reasons.
Yeah.
Two big reasons.
I would, unfortunately, I'm going to go with thwack Bianca. I mean, she is the canon choice, but I'm more of a Deborah man, so I'm going to thwack Bianca. And then in the end, I will marry Florette, as I love her look and her beautiful French accent. Though I'll have to make sure to get my Wiimote calibrated to make this whole thing work, because you know how difficult that can be sometimes.
Well, Penny just completely stole my answer, so all I'm going to say there is ditto.
Yeah, I'd probably have to go the same way. I would thwack Bianca because she's not Nira though. I'm the only Nira fan in this,
Poor
this
Bianca.
podcast. I
In
think.
the entire Dragon Quest community.
Yeah, I'm I'm more about hey, you were great as a childhood friend, but I'm gonna go steal the rich girl from this guy.
Hey, hey, remember that time we went ghost hunting? I need to remind you that time we went ghost hunting. Damn it.
Yeah,
That time we went ghost hunting.
That one time we hung out and went ghost hunting. Marriage material right there. Yeah, and then Jessica, I think I would probably marry Florette because she's foreign. And there's
You have no experience with that.
yeah, my dad married an Irish lady. My brother married a French Canadian, and I married a Japanese lady. So I think that yeah, there's something
There's a
about
theme
us
there.
cursing men that the accent, or I don't know what it is. Maybe just wanting to experience a completely different culture than our own.
Oui. Once you're
Yep. We blade. We blade we.
My hijo.
My ear. Yeah, so I would probably marry and then puff off Jessica.
for reasons.
Yes.
Yep.
But
All three of
ultimately,
us.
and then Jade would
You
come
know,
in
you
and
get-
kick everyone
I ain't get
passes. And I would
puff from
marry her.
Jessica anyway if I marry her.
That's true. I mean,
This
you
is
do
true,
get a
yes.
lifetime of that. Well, wait a minute. I mean, you're assuming a lot about that husband-wife relationship.
Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
Kristof's been married yet.
Hopefully, it's not like one of those puff offs where she just pushes you off a cliff with like a bungee cord and you puff off into the clouds. As hilarious as that would be, like
Yeah.
that would be kind of rough in real life.
Yeah, that was one of the best ones from 11. They had some hilarious puff-offs in that game.
Yeah.
So before we go, anyone excited about Dragon Quest XI-S coming out today on various platforms? I already have it for the Switch, but I'm excited to see Dragon Quest get released on an Xbox system for the first time ever. And as far as I'm concerned, the more exposure, the better. So it's great that it's now on Xbox. And like I said, the first Dragon Quest on Xbox ever. I also heard, based off the demo from people playing it, that it runs at a better resolution in FPS than it did on the Switch. So that's a nice little bonus. And
Awesome.
not a big deal to me, but I know some people appreciate that. Liam and Kristof, I know there are maybe I don't know what 10 Xboxes in Japan, but, but do you know if it's also being released there as well for the Xbox?
I've heard so. So I think it's gonna be released in Japan as well. But fans are just Japanese fans just wonder why. Because
Because of
in
us.
Japan we get PS4 version, we have a 3DS version, and we have a Switch version, and now we just don't know why.
Yeah, I could get that confusion because it's really not a popular console over here. So I understand that that kind of. Did they think it was going to sell Xboxes in Japan? Maybe like a handful of collectors would probably just buy the game even if they didn't have the system. But yeah, I don't see it like becoming a huge boom for Xbox in Japan.
No, I think they did that just for the West.
Oh yeah,
putting it on
definitely.
Xbox. Yeah, which is
Definitely.
great. It's great to see that they're paying attention to the West like that and trying to make that push. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it makes sense that they've had quite a few games now releasing on Steam, and
Yes.
from what I understand, that it's not a huge leap between Xbox and PC versions of games.
Mm-mm.
So hopefully, I like Atlas this year released Persona 4 Golden on the PC and was very surprised by how many they sold. And now Atlas is like, oh, why don't we put everything on PC? So the more games and the more places by the more companies, always a good thing.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and I have to admit that I used to see people being like, oh, Dragon Quest 1 through 3, that the one that came out for Switch, I'll bring port those to Xbox, and I would just be like, that's not going to happen. But now maybe it will.
Who knows?
So
never know.
if they're releasing 11 to Xbox, which
And
is
I mean,
which is great because it really exposes a lot of people who maybe have never played Dragon Quest before now can pick this up and will probably end up loving it because there's something for everybody in this game.
Yeah, it's a good one to start with.
Mm-hmm. And at the same time, they've had Japan's had 1 through 3 on the PlayStation 4, going back to the original release of Dragon Quest.
I was
11.
I was so disappointed that didn't come over here because, like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember, but in the Japanese version, when you beat, I don't know if they did this on the 3DS as well, but I know for the PlayStation 4 version, once you beat the real ending, they would actually get you a code to download Dragon Quest 1. 2 and 3 you had to buy on your own. So it would have been cool if they had brought that over to America as well and to get the trophies for those 3 games. But at least we got it on the Switch, so we have it some way. But it would have been nice to have it on the PlayStation Network as well.
Yeah. Here we are complaining about releases, and Kristof's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I get everything.
You get everything.
We're good.
Something I'm still feeling sad about that Dragon Quest 1, 2, 3 is that 3 will be still the mobile version. Which
I know.
Less stuff than
No monster animations in battle. That's like my forever. Like, why would you strip that out and then leave it out?
And no TNT.
Nope.
Yep.
No Pachisi.
Yeah.
A lot of those are kind of...
And no monster medals like was in the Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Color. Well, that I could do without.
Yeah, that unless they cranked that way up. I remember finishing that game and like, hey, I got like 20 of them. Oh crap, how many do I need?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got 20 of them and they're all bronze.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it was years later on the Den that I learned that there was something other than bronze.
Had the extra dungeon of the Game Boy Color.
That's right.
They did have an extra dungeon. But yeah, I thought the Super Famicom dungeon was actually pretty challenging and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that the definitive edition for that game for me is still the Super Famicom version.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I have yet to purchase those 3 Switch versions. Sorry, Square Enix, you didn't get me on that one. I'm glad it's there for people who haven't played, but I played like every version of those games. I've even beat all 3 of them on my phone. So
can you buy them digitally, or would you have to get the physical copy through PlayAsia?
You could do both. They're digital over here on the eShop.
Okay.
Yeah. And they go on sale all the time. I get an email from Nintendo. They're usually pretty good. When something on your wish list goes on sale, they'll be like, hey, guess what? Something on your wish list is on sale.
There was a cool little Photoshop thing that somebody did of 4, 5, and 6 in like a Switch case, kind of mirroring how the front of the box looked. Yeah, that was a really cool little piece of Photoshop, and just kind of, next please, this one.
Yeah, a lot of people like to assume that they did 1, 2, and 3, so they'll do 4, 5, and 6 next, right? Well, not necessarily, because like the only reason they did 1, 2, and 3 is because it tied into the story of 11, which is why they did it in the first place.
Right,
so you can't assume that they're going to do more just because they did 1, 2, and 3, because they had a specific reason why they ported 1, 2, and 3, because of the way it tied into 11. But man, if they do that in the future, either on the console now or consoles in the future, like PlayStation 5 or something, that would be nice.
Yeah,
maybe there'll be a tie-in with Dragon Quest 12. Who knows?
Wouldn't that be interesting if that goes back to Zenithia?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
I still think the next game we're going to find out about, mainline, anything, I still think Dragon Quest 9 for the Switch. That's going to be the next one.
That's coming. That'll be the next remake they do. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of hinted at it a couple of years ago on one of the official Twitters. I won't throw the person under the bus. Said, well, what would you do if, or how would you feel if Dragon Quest 9 was remade? And it was like from a personal account from one of the employees there. So, it's entirely possible that that's on the table and in discussion. But
I mean, they've already had how many versions of Dragon Quest 11? Everything else. You got Dragon Quest 10 on like 87 different platforms, and
I think they're just trying to figure out how the multiplayer is going to be established.
The grotto mechanic would have to change too. I mean, a lot of what made that game so amazingly versatile was that there were bugs in how it interacted with the DS software. So you get those things like all metal slime maps. That was very, very specific to the way the code, the game code was like interpreted by the DS hardware. So that kind of goes away unless they specifically say, "Hey, let's build this mechanic in," which I don't foresee them doing.
God, I hope so. That metal map helped me out so much for the post game.
Yeah. I mean, but if it was kind of an unanticipated bug in the system that just kind of left in there, or if it was a conscious decision to code it that way, it just strikes me as something like, if you play remakes of Mega Man, they take out the select pause feature that allows you to kind of game the system. So it would kind of be similar to that. Like if there's a bug that exists in the original and it's a remake, it's probably not going to be in the remake. The other thing, Dragon Warrior 3 had that parry attack. You hit parry, and then you hit B, and then you hit attack, and you do like you're still defending while attacking. Basically,
free defense.
Yeah, exactly. So that was in the original Dragon Warrior 3, and then in the remakes, it was gone. So there's little things like that, and maybe the chest timers. Like I don't know if that's going to be a thing, or if they're going to change up the mechanic. Maybe Yab will have to update his tools for that for the remake. But just kind of curbing my enthusiasm for stuff like that. It's going to be the exact type of game. There will be stuff that's way better than the original, but certain bugs that I've loved in that game won't exist in the remake.
Oh, I could see that. I could see them, totally retooling that stuff. I mean, look at what they've done for the other game remakes. Look at Dragon Quest 11. They took out the the crossbow targeting thing.
Yeah.
For the definitive edition. So, obviously that wasn't a big draw, but I know some people loved it going around looking all the time.
Fun.
Yeah,
that was the least. That was the least favorite part of the game for me.
Oh, completely. I don't think I did anything past the first area.
Was really annoying.
I was not sad to see it go.
Nope.
Much like some people hate the horse racing, I hated the crossbow.
Yeah.
That was the one thing I used the guide for. I was like, I'm just going to use the guide.
I still had to use the guide, but I like the crossbow thing better than the horse racing thing.
That I didn't mind, except for the last one. That last race, they can go jump in a lake, but all the other races were fine.
Yeah,
I will have to say the horse racing thing didn't annoy me on the PS4, but playing the definitive edition and trying to go through all in 2D, and suddenly you walk up like, oh, that's horse race, and suddenly you're thrust back into the 3D for the first time in 15 hours. I was like, whoa, wait, what the heck's going on? You didn't code a 2D horse race? You did everything else. I mean, they did so much to change that game up. I mean, even including the way the battle system worked as the original games. And then it just thrusts you into the 3D horse racing. Like, whoa, come on.
Oh, that threw me off. That threw me off at the end of Act 1, too, because that was one of the few times where it kind of went back into the movie that they made for it at the very end of it. Instead of rendering it in 2D like they did most everything else. All of a sudden it was like, hey, it's back in 3D. It's like, whoa, okay, well, this is different. But yes, it was interesting. Though at least for the definitive edition, if you didn't like the horse racing, they did have the golden reins that you could get somehow that would make it easier. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but even it's not as easy as it was on 3DS, because it's pretty easy for me playing horse race on 3DS, but somehow it's extremely difficult with the PS2 system.
Oh, that's right, because the 3DS version, it would have been in that chibi style that they had to do for that version of it. That'd be interesting to play.
We have. Did you see there was a note that Yuji Horii released, just saying thank you to the fans, and I hope you enjoy the definitive editions on all the different consoles.
I saw that today,
and he mentioned the 3DS version, although that's not being released in the West. But as soon as he mentioned 3DS version, I was like, oh, 3DS guy is gonna chime in. And 3DS guy did not disappoint.
Really? Oh
yeah,
my God! Every time.
Every time. Kristof, we have this one guy who's holding out for a 3DS release here in the West, and the poor guy's like a one-man army with change.org petitions and this recurring social media posts that he does, and so it's just funny because every time someone mentions a release of any version of Dragon Quest XI, he's there.
So passionate about it.
He's there. Where's the 3DS version? But he did not disappoint this time.
And there was an Xbox guy too that posted a lot, and now he has to retire.
Oh boy. All right. Anybody else have any other news? Anything else we want to hit on before we wrap this one up?
No.
All right. Well, then that's it for this episode of Slime Time. Thank you, Kristof.
Oh, thank you very much.
And thank you, Liam Bland, for guesting.
Thanks. It was a fun reversal.
We might have to have you back sometime.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Hey, it was a good
Thanks,
guess,
guys. Yeah. I mean, he kind of knew his stuff.
And thank you, Kristof and Kenichi for treating me to Luida's bar. It was an amazing time. It was great to see the new place and compare it to the old, and I look forward to future adventures, particularly in a non-pandemic world.
Anytime you want, just ask us.
Cool.
All right, thanks, guys, for joining us to talk about Luida's Bar, where nobody knows your name. If you want to find more of Kristof, you can find him on Twitter at @KKristof, 1F, with the number 100. We'll put that in the show notes, too.
Thanks, guys.
So, you might have noticed that the only time we ever mention Patreon on Slime Time is when we say we don't use Patreon. We're just longtime fans that want to speak about the game series we know and love so much. If you have any money you'd like to donate, consider sliding on over to the Dragon's Den at www.woodus.com/den and click on support this site. We've had a couple former guests and listeners just do that in the past week, so thank you very much, guys. Anybody else would love to do that? Go ahead, because Woodus has owned and maintained the Dragon's Den fan site for over 20 years now. I'm sure he'd appreciate any donation. Or you can use his Amazon affiliate links to make any purchases. Especially, we got the new Dragon Quest XI S's coming out. Pretty much anything that's on Amazon with Dragon Quest on it, he's got an affiliate link to it there. Buy it through him, and a small fraction of the sale will go support the site.
And if you hang out at Facebook, you can check out the group called Dragon Questers that I'm an admin for. And if you have any comments or questions, you can also find us on Twitter at DQ Slimetime.
Yeah. Consider joining in tons of Dragon Quest discussions at the Dragon's Den forums, one of the few remaining forums still around. Find it from the Dragon's Den main page or go to www.woodus.com/forums. I know I'm always there, crazily posting, keeping people up to date with what I see around in different Discord servers. Liam, I don't know if you saw recently, I'd mentioned that our old buddy Z6N4 has announced that he, here we are a year almost since we had him on, he's joined up with a new Dragon Quest Monsters 2 translation group, and someone in the new group helped him find that bug that he was having a hard time with.
Oh, that's amazing.
So yeah, they've been working together kind of secretly for about a couple months. He did post about it right before Thanksgiving. He's like, hey, this is not, we're almost done with it by any means. Just wanted to let people know that he found someone, because there was a new group trying to just do a partial translation, a stripped down translation, so that even though they couldn't expand the text box sizes, they could at least get a playable version out there for English speakers. And then one of the members found the needle in the haystack that he was looking for. So now they can throw as much text in there as they want. So they're kind of working together on it now, and we'll see how that works out.
Sweet.
So, yeah, we'd love to always thank everyone that made this podcast possible, like Brian, a.k.a. Woodus, for his support of the series and this podcast and keeping the Dragon's Den's lights on for decades now.
Thanks to Amanda Lepre and the Descendants of Erdrick for allowing us to use their music for our podcast. Descendants of Erdrick is a video game tribute band from Austin, Texas. Check them and their most recent album, Advent, at www.descendantsoferdrick.com or on Twitter at DOF Erdrick, and check out Amanda Lepre streaming on Twitch.
Our thanks, as always, to Dwayne Bullock, our wonderful graphic artist / Dragon Quest fan, for making the awesome artwork cover for this podcast. Dwayne was on the original iteration of Slime Time Podcast almost a decade ago now, and he's been on many of our episodes. You can check out more of his work at Dwayne Art on Instagram or his website at dwayneBullockArt.bigcartel.com.
If you are looking for more Dragon Quest Slime Time, check out earlier episodes on Dragon's Den, Anchor.fm, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and more.
Bye, everyone.
Dragon Quest Slime Time, sliming on.